is rising. Only 2 cars left in the pit lane before we have a full grid. Take a look up to the lights, then we'll see the countdown coming on. We're going to count down. 5 seconds. Season 3, race 1 is under starters orders. Lights down, EERC is go, go, go. The good start, Richard Nurkaster tries to keep the inside line down towards Bell. The one look at Mike Bell. Coming right round the outside, in towards Cobb's corner. A spectacular move. Oh, big crest, and that's Louis Hartley. Into the bollard then. Doug Hamilton swings it round the outside line. He's got back to the start as well. Oh, no. And the starter under chaos in the middle of the field. Cars left, right and centre. And it takes second position as well. But Hartley's been run right around two. And it's almost as though it was just utter chaos.
Just chaos.
Good evening and welcome to Laguna Seca for round 6 of season 4 of the EERC British Touring Car Championship. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me in the commentary box is Pascal Eggert, who's also managing broadcast direction today. Green flag at the end of the pit lane, and there's 3 Hunter Birch cars all jostling for position then to start their first qualifying laps here at this brilliant roller coaster circuit in California, of course, the Laguna Seca, that are not traditionally associated with touring cars, of course, but very much an interesting venue, especially with a lot of the track limits being established at the corkscrew, which is, of course, an iconic piece of the track. So we will have to see how things really play out today, of course. The corkscrew, that's, of course, turns 7 and 8, as we see Luca Gray and one of the Hunter Birch Goldtacular teammates in the Hyundai just getting out of the way. That's the 42 of Louis Hartley, I believe, at the Louis Hesketh, sorry, at the wheel. Always get those two mixed up. But there we go. Luca Gray, of course, winner of race 3 in Road Atlanta. Seems to go well at these American tracks, although he's not had too much luck of late. His last 2 visits at home to Silverstone and Snetterton were pretty disastrous as Luca Gray lags into Louis Hesketh there. Of course, under Birch Simulation have got a new driver, Tom Hackett, who is in the 194, the car that used to be Louis Hesketh's, which is, of course, the point scoring in the Teams Championship Hyundai. So it'll be interesting to see how Hackett gets on in his first appearance. There goes Luca Gray then to start his first flying lap, and he will, of course, be one of the front runners. We've seen him qualify incredibly well this season. Always things don't always seem to work out for him in the races, and some of that is contact with others, and some of that is unfortunately a few mistakes from Luca himself, in particular in regards to pulling up the engine at Snetterton. But here we go, into the first sector we go through the Andretti hairpin, turns 3 and 4. Oh, and Luca Gray's already turned over after completely losing it through turn 4. So that's it. Luca Gray will have to go back to the pits and try again. That's clearly a very, very unstable setup there. I looked away for a second and suddenly Luca was on his roof. But there we go. Hartley, Season 2 champion on a flying lap here. Purple in the first sector, although that's actually been beaten first by Darren Wright for Crown Dental Group. And then Marcin Morel for the Speed Eagles has gone even faster. Noah Tuomela sets a 26.8 in the first sector. The KV86 powerhouse, and of course, I believe his teammate Patrick Magnussen has finished serving a race ban, of course. Was it Tuomela or Magnussen? I can't remember which one.
Tuomela.
It was Tuomela, yes. And I think there was another driver who also got a ban that expired, wasn't it? It was Slovenak, of course.
Yep.
So Jurka Slovenak free to return, but we don't see Jurka on the grid at the moment. And Tuomela Unsurprisingly, picking up from where he left off, sending a couple of purple sectors there. Louis Eskeff is the first to set a time, but that's immediately beaten by Rashke and Hartley. Of course, Hartley sits to 127.7. Is very, very good. 2/10 quicker than Thomas Rashke. Morel goes for now fastest for the speedy because a 10th quicker than Hartley. So good lap from Marcin Morel. But Thijs van Leeuwen for Finnevon beats it. And then Noah Miller, of course, who we've been following, sets a 126.0. Very, very quick time indeed. 7/10 quicker than Thijs van Leeuwen. Is Magnussen, who was not banned, of course, has been competing pretty much the whole season, this Patrick. Purple middle sector. Let's see what he can make of the final sector then. This could get him near the front row. It puts him into third position. There we go, just behind Loic Moinier, who has gone second fastest, just a 10th shy of Noah Tuomela. So a few more laps just being set here. So the order at the moment after the first runs is Tuomela, Moinier, Magnussen, KV86, 1, 2, 3. Van Leeuwen is fourth. Orvath is fifth, so it's Finnevon Green, fourth and fifth. Staffan Nielsen is sixth, actually, surprisingly. Then is Morel seventh. Nick Homewood was eighth, but it's just been beaten because somebody else has gone faster. That's Yannick Pleiss for Operation McNuggies, who, of course, was on pole position last time out at Silverstone in that unique event. As Luca Gray has got back on the horse and set another purple sector here, which is great to see. This time getting a bit further around the lap. Into turns 5 and now uphill towards turn 6 in the Rahal Straight, named after Graham Rahal, the IndyCar driver, of course.
And we see a lot of people staying out for a second lap compared to Silverstone this time around again.
Yeah, that's a good point, Pascal, because it's a lot less strain on the tyres with some of these straights here. There's a couple of fast corners, but it's mainly sort of a straight followed by a 90-degree corner, essentially, for the most part, as Luca Gray's really lighting up the time sheets at the moment. He seems to have really found something in that focus as he gets very, very wide through turn 10 there. Now just turn 11 to go. The left-hander hook it in over the curb and then run out wide. Now just power towards the line. What's going to be for Luca Gray? It's a 1:26.3. So personal best in the final sector. That puts him just 2/10 behind Moinier, but a 10th ahead of Van Leeuwen, who is now up to 4th. So good effort from Luca Gray there for Hunter Birch in the number 56. And what else have we got to look out for then? As we look on the track, who's going quicker out there? Marcin Morel sets a personal best first sector. Sort of slightly down in the middle, 27.7. So I don't think this is going to be particularly quick compared to his first effort. Let's see if we can find some time in the final sector. Darren Wright gets up to 10th. Yannick Pleiss has also just set a time a 10th shy of Luca Gray as well. Morel indeed does not go faster, 1:28.6, so a second slower than his best lap. Luca Gray setting 2 more purple sectors. Here he is at the corkscrew. Yeah, the focus just seems to handle really well in the hands of Luca Gray here with some of these direction changes. Possibly it goes very, very wide. Well, Luca Gray just taking a lot of risks here and just about able to hold on to the car. But that mistake there going downhill through the rainy curve, that could cost him a bit of time.
Also, the weight is probably going to play quite a role here with all the elevation changes, which is why we see Luca up there.
Yeah, of course, a man with no ballast whatsoever, whereas the likes of Louis Hartley and Loic Moinier have both got quite a lot, as we see a lot of something being kicked up at the pit wall there. I think somebody lost the tyre. But Luca Gray will get out again with 7 minutes to go, as that looks like one of the Finnevons crossing the line in the background. I think that was Darren Wright as well, actually, for Crown Dental Groups, setting another personal best to go 10th fastest once more. So the top 10 at the moment is Tuomela, Moinier, Gray, Pleiss, Van Leeuwen, Magnussen, Horvath, Nielsen, Morel, and Wright. A good effort from Last Stint Racing and Staffan Nielsen, Standby Staffan, as he used to be affectionately called, putting in a very, very good performance here. But as you say, no ballast for a lot of these guys that are low down the points in the championship, whereas Louis Hartley here, second in the points, has got an awful lot of weight to lug around, nearly 50 kilograms. But nevertheless, personal best in the middle sector and purple in the first. So he's certainly getting the most out of that Hyundai. Or is it a Ford Focus? Sorry. There we go. And Hartley goes fourth fastest, just 59 thousandths behind Luca Gray there. So excellent lap from the Season 2 champion. But still 2 places behind his championship rival and the points leader, Loic Meunier. And there's Horvath as one of the McNuggy's cars gets out the way. So Slovenak has actually joined the quali grid with 6 minutes to go. So he is currently 19th then, having not set a lap. So Jericho Slovenak taking advantage of the fact that his ban has expired. So number 4, Horvath, out of the final corner he goes. Can he get close to the top 7, top 6 here with this lap? It's better, but it's only good enough for 8th then. 87 thousandths behind Magnussen, who is just a 100th behind Thijs van Leeuwen then. So it's all very, very tight, basically behind Luca Gray. All the way down to Mark Horvath in 8th. But here comes Louis Hesketh for the Goldtacular team. Can he shine, get himself out of 18th position, which is currently last because Jericho Slovenak has decided he didn't like me mentioning him and has disappeared. And there we go. Is that Louis Hesketh ahead of Thomas Raschke? He's in the sister team, the Underboat Simulation number 78 then. So good lap from Hesketh there. It's ahead of his teammate Tom Hackett there. Here's Meunier. 5 minutes left to go. Loic Meunier, unfortunately, 2 tenths slower, personal best, but 2 tenths slower than Noah Tuomela, who's absolutely lighting up the timing sheets once more. And you have to say, Pascal, KV86 look very, very well hooked up here. Probably the best of all of them in that Toyota.
Yeah, very stable car, but it looks like that looks like a cut tractor. Let's see if he abandons that lap.
Yeah, and we've been told they were going to be quite strict on that, weren't we, in the pre-race briefings. So I have to see Meunier may back off knowing this lap won't count, and indeed he does so. And Tuomela seemed to make a mistake as well, because he had a slightly slower Sector 2 too. It's Tom Hackett, the rookie driver, in the 194. 4 minutes left to go. He's certainly ahead of Neuendorf and Slovenak, who's decided to try and get back in the server again in the number 43 McNuggy's car. There's the sister McNuggy's car, I think, which must be Yannick Pleiss, just about to move out of Hackett's way. But great to see Tom Hackett being given the chance. To be honest, I did put him in the 194, the point scoring car, because I was convinced that Louis Hesketh was not going to show up again, because he's not done that very much this season. But then a few minutes later, he told me he was going to show up, and I thought, well, I'll put you in the 3rd car that won't score points in the team stable, because I thought Hackett would be the better bet, in all honesty. There we go. Tom Hackett gets up to 9th position, 127.144. So good lap there. But even faster is Luca Gray, who's at a 27.0, but a 26.7 in the first sector. So it's all about this final sector now. Luca Gray pushing for all he's worth. Dips. Oh, a little bit off track there, but hopefully he's able to just about hold on through the final corner then. And towards the line, out of turn 11, towards that start-finish line. Can Luca Gray get onto the front row of the grid? And it is pole position provisionally for Luca Gray. 2 tenths ahead of Noah Tuomela. Fabulous lap from the Englishman there. And Luca Gray well and truly doing what he had threatened to do all session there. Let's hope he was just about within track limits on that turn 10 there.
I don't think he was, but then again, I don't think it was faster, so... But considering Tuomela abandoned the first lap, I think he's still going to be a threat. But Luca Gray is going out once again.
And
Maybe
Gray, the first man in the
125.8
as well. He's the first man in the 125s. So that certainly put the cat among the pigeons. But let's see if Tuomela and Meunier can respond to that. A little bit of a gap to Hartley with his ballast. Or Meunier will struggle with his ballast too, but Tuomela has got that little bit less. So he could be the main threat, as you say, to Gray. As we look at Neuendorf trying to get off of the back row of the grid. They're going a little bit wide for the pot racer team. Neuendorf has put in some very, very solid, respectable performances in his drive so far this season. So I think he's definitely definitely the B team in terms of the Toyotas compared to the KV86 powerhouse, as expected. But he goes a little faster, 2/10 off of Pajoud, who is the next driver up the road in 17th. As we see, Slovenak is also setting times out there, 28.0 in the first sector, not especially quick. And there's Moynier giving it another go, and is that a Finnevond or a McNuggy's car? Just ahead in the distance there, that could distract the Frenchman. He goes through the corkscrew, hooks it up very, very nicely indeed as the sparks fly. Now he's got to thread the needle with the Crown Dental Group and the McNuggy's car ahead of him. Such a stupid team name, McNuggy's. I wish they would have picked a name that didn't have anything to do with food that the drivers like to eat. But I guess that's their idea of brand sponsorship. And indeed, is that Slovenak going completely off track there and kicking up a bollard into the path of his teammate, which will not help him whatsoever. Loic Moynier able to go a little bit faster and extend his advantage over Louis Hartley, but just 31 thousandths behind Noah Toemela. And that is Loic Moynier done for the session. The same deal for Stefan Nielsen in 12th and Neuendorf in 18th. They are both done. No time left to get out there and set another lap. Although you see Neuendorf trying in the background. Here's Yannick Pleiss. He finishes his outlap with 30 seconds left to go, and that's one of the Gold-taculars shadowing him in the background there. Tom Hackett then 10th at the moment. 3/10 behind Nick Homewood. So very, very respectable performance from the rookies so far in the 194. Louis Hartley, he's crossed the line to finish. Remains in 4th. Same with Darren Wright in 11th. So they are ticking off the checklist one by one. Can Toemela put in a final lap here? Session timer runs out. Checkered flag is out. So it looks like Toemela and Gray are not on laps at the moment. Or if they are, they're only just going through the first sector. Tom Hackett powers towards the line on his final attempt. And is that Luca Gray or Thomas Raschke coming in behind him? Hackett, where's he going to finish the session? Still in 10th then, so he gets a 127.113. Raschke moves up to 13th ahead of Morel. It's a good final effort from him in the number 78 Hunter Birch car. We also see Pajoud gets up to 16th, just 79 thousandths shy of Louis Hesketh. Don't see anybody else out there improving. There's Yannick Pleiss. Pole sitter at Silverstone. Can he get into the mix here? Powersour's line that's very wide out the final corner, so that's going to hurt his run across the line. And Pleiss goes a bit quicker, but remains in 5th position, 2/10 behind Louis Hartley. And there is Toemela, the last one that can really challenge Luca Gray here. He's going to be the last man over the line as well. Just turn 11 to go. Locks up a little bit on his entry here, but that won't lose him too much time. Just powering towards the line. Everyone watching in anticipation. No Toemela. Is it going to be pole position? No. Despite a purple final sector, he still falls 2/10 shy of Luca Gray there on a 126.051. So Luca Gray takes pole position for the first time this season, and after a miserable Silverstone and Snetterton, that's exactly what he needed. So pole position by 2/10 of a second, although Luca Gray admittedly had no ballast going into that, so that puts him in a great position to fight for the win in race 1 here. Noah Toemela is second, just ahead of his teammate Loic Moynier, the championship leader, just ahead of his title rival Louis Hartley. Yannick Pleiss lines up 5th ahead of Fijs van Leeuwen. Patrick O'Magnussen will line up 7th ahead of Mark Horvath and Nick Homewood in 9th. Good to see Nick Homewood back up there in the top 10. Tom Hackett on his first performance rounds out the top 10. And is downright in 11th for Crown Dental Group. Stefan Nielsen, 12th. Some early impressive laps, but unfortunately 1.4 seconds off the pace in the end. Thomas Raschke in 13th, ahead of Marcin Morel. Then it's Louis Hesketh in 15th. Stanislas Pajoud in 16th. Peter Schoenemann, 17th. Peter Neuendorf in 18th. And lining up the rear, having not done a whole lot of practice, I believe, is Jurka Slovenak, 3.2 seconds off the pace.
Already going to the race.
Left to find. So as we wait for the grid to line up, Oliver Hargitay says that he had issues with his internet, which is why he couldn't jump on. So Thomas Raschke is asking for, can you do us cars in the back a favor? by waiting until we're out of the last corner. He's saying that to Luca Gray essentially on the warm-up lap. But let's see
Yeah,
what
we're
people
gonna
are
have
saying.
a rolling start, that's why.
Ah, I see. That does make a lot of sense. Interesting comments in the chat. Domenico Scarpelli says cars. And he says aired. And he says, oh, not ideal. Man, those are some cars, says Crazy Captain. Spelled captain wrong. Let's go, and then him. Out of context, those messages make no sense to me. Right, okay. There we go. Luca Gray leads away. Oh, as Nilsson gets completely stranded and hit in the back by Morel there on the as the formation lap begins. So let's hope we don't see cars damaged before the race even starts. But that has led to a bit of a mess, to put things mildly, as Morel gains quite a few positions and has to slow right down. At this point, should I go through the grid order again, just for those who may have missed it, Pascal, and row by row?
Sure.
Okay, so on the front row, for the first time this season, Luca Gray on pole position. And don't forget, Luca Gray's using his soft tyres in race 1, so with less ballast than all those around him and the soft tyres at his disposal, this should be looking good for him. We are on lap 1 of 12, but this is a rolling start, remember? So we will get underway at the end of the lap, hopefully. Noah Tuomela lines up alongside him. Then row 2 is Loic Moynier and Louis Hartley, the two titled protagonists. Yannick Pleiss and Thijs van Leeuwen make up row 3. Row 4 is formed by Patrick Magnussen and Mark Horvath. Row 5 is Nick Homewood and Tom Hackett, the two Englishmen. Then row 6, Darren Wright and Staffan Nilsson. Row 7, Thomas Raschke and Marcin Morel. Row 8, Louis Hesketh and Stanislas Pajald. Row 9, Peter Schumann and Peter Neuendorf. And then bringing up the rear on row 10 is Jureka Slovanak in 19th. As a reminder, Gray, Moynier, Van Leeuwen, Magnussen, Horvath, Homewood, Hesketh, and Schumann have all got the soft tyres. Everybody else is on the mediums. So now Luca Gray will try and pick his moment to start the race here with Tuomela behind on the mediums. It could be interesting to see if KV86 Powerhouse try and swap their two cars around, as Hartley, Pleiss, and Van Leeuwen getting very bunched together in the background. There we go. Luca Gray sees the green flag, and he is going to set off, but Tuomela actually is going to try and pull alongside. Luca Gray waits for the last possible moment over the line and almost has to be pushed across by Tuomela, but the race has begun, and Luca Gray is bolting, and it looks like Hartley is under attack from Pleiss, Van Leeuwen, and Magnussen.
Yeah,
I think I can hear Pascal's fan in the background, but
I think he was even lagging over the line there.
We did
Not
see it in
very
qualifying,
happy.
didn't we?
Yeah.
But excellent qualifying from Luca Gray, and well judged at the start, to be honest, because he's now 4 tenths ahead of Noah Tuomela. Elsewhere in the field, any other big movers and shakers? The Van Leeuwen, Magnussen, Horvath, Homewood, and Hesketh group, all in the top, all rounding out the top 10 and all on the soft tyres. So we could see Van Leeuwen challenging Pleiss before too long. And in fact, here is Yannick Pleiss, but Van Leeuwen is more worried about Patrick Magnussen all over the back of him, looking to join his KV86 Powerhouse teammates as Tuomela is trying to go around the outside of Luca Gray down the Rahal Straight. So it looks like a little mistake from Luca Gray. He'll have to defend into the corkscrew. Oh! And forces Noah Tuomela to almost steer out of the way there. So it was a very, very good middle sector, 7 tenths quicker for Noah Tuomela. So Luca Gray potentially lagging or running into an issue there in the middle sector, but he has things back under control at the present moment, lifting over the curb through turn 10, and now 11 to go to get to the end of lap 2. So just under 10 more laps to go that Luca Gray will have to hold on to this race 1 victory. Morel has passed Nilsson for 14th position, so Staffan Nilsson is falling back down the order. Thomas Raschke now gets past him, and Peter Schumann as well. The fastest lap for Tuomela. That is looking a little bit ominous then for Luca Gray, as Tuomela absolutely drifts in to the Andretti hairpin there. And that is going to slightly compromise his line, but it shows you just how much Tuomela is pushing at the moment. And Luca Gray, he has won a race 3, as we say, back at Road Atlanta earlier in the season, but how dearly he would love a race 1 victory. And he's probably feeling Very lucky that he has those soft tyres on that car. But Pascal, will the soft runners worry about some degradation towards the end of the race here?
I mean, we have one lap less because of the standing start, so I don't think it's gonna be too bad, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it should be fine.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see Turo Miller. I wonder if it's just a ballast thing, the reason why it's Moynier that's hanging back and trying to hold off Hartley essentially, rather than focusing on swapping positions with Turo Miller, because I'm surprised Turo Miller is challenging for the lead on the medium tyres here.
Yeah, what also doesn't help Luca is that he's gonna have to defend a whole lot if the gap stays like that, so he can't really focus
and that
on
looked
the
like Hartley
tires.
getting a bit wide out of turn 10, and Yannick Pleiss getting very, very close as they go through the final corner. Hartley and Pleiss both on the medium tyres, remember, in the battle for fourth position. So let's see, can Yannick Pleiss get a move on into the Andretti hairpin as Gray retakes the fastest lap by a tenth from Tuamela, so he is responding up front. And look at this, Pleiss has a look up the inside in the McNuggies car on Louis Hartley then, and that's not good for the man second in the championship. Gets forced out wide onto the grass and down into fifth position there. So Louis Hartley now has got to worry about Van Leeuwen, his teammate right behind him. Van Leeuwen will probably cooperate with Louis Hartley here as Hartley slides. He's not feeling comfortable on those mediums, but neither is Pleiss, who goes completely off track on exit. And here comes Van Leeuwen.
Yeah, I think you definitely saw the weight playing a role there too, the first corner being downhill. Hartley had to stop a lot more there.
Yeah, and Louis just has to get out of the way of Vijs Van Leeuwen, his teammate, and drops down to sixth. Now potentially Patrick Magnusson and his soft tyres could be a threat here. We also see Schoenemann and Homewood have dropped all the way down to 15th and 16th. Louis Hesketh has dropped right down to 19th, unsurprisingly. But Tom Hackett still running in 9th position, having started 10th on the grid. But Slovenak from the very back of the grid, fighting with Morel here for 10th position. And Morel is going to try and hold on. This is a furious fight with the two McNuggies cars. That looks like Pajoud and Slovenak swapping positions there. And is that Slovenak off track there? Oh, my goodness me. And Schoenemann drifting into turn 10 there. And Slovenak, I think, has hit the wall. No, it's Pajoud, sorry, that's hit the wall. Slovenak was on the inside there and has now held on to like 11th position just behind Marcin Morel there. But this is all really helping Tom Hackett then as the two Finnavons of Homewood and Schoenemann continue to go over Tuamela to a second in the fight for victory. Wheel lifting from Magnusson through turn 3 then, as he's now all over the back of Louis Hartley, who's looking distinctly vulnerable, but not as vulnerable as Yannick Pleiss is now. Moynier is ahead of Tuamela. Have they made the swap then at KV86 Powerhouse as Pleiss, he tries to defend up the inside, and now sees Van Leeuwen just completely all over the back of him. Van Leeuwen is having an excellent race, isn't he, on those soft tyres?
Yeah, also not with a lot of ballast. I think both of them have no ballast, so...
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened on the previous... Oh dear, and there goes the man second in the points off. He just went straight on at the corkscrew, round the outside. Goes Hackett into the top 7 now, past Louis Hartley.
Yeah, he took out Van Leeuwen there.
Oh dear, so poor Van Leeuwen, who we were just praising, gets a tap from the back of Louis Hartley, and that ends up with both drivers costing themselves. Sorry, I completely was looking away at the timing screen when that happened. So, it's kind of my fault for the commentators cursing him.
Does not have a decent gap to manage his tires, possibly.
So Horvath, who started a little bit further down the field on the softs, has been shattering Magnusson, hasn't he? And doing incredibly well now to get into 6th position and challenging now for 5th. The gap starting to emerge out. Luke Moyney's now 1.6 behind Luca Gray, so Tuamela looked like he was struggling maybe on the mediums, and Moynier has decided even with the more ballast that he has, it's probably more beneficial to put your man higher up in the championship onto another place up the podium if you can control 2nd and 3rd, like they have done with the 2.6 second gap they've got to Yannick Pleiss at the moment. But meanwhile, Horvath is right behind Magnusson. Here's Raschke, who's in a fight with Schoenemann and Neuendorf all over the back of him. And looks like Horvath just had a little think about a move on Magnusson there. So our time screen went a bit haywire. But also keep your eyes on Hartley, who'll be challenging Tom Hackett for 7th as Rashke. Oh, just a little bit of a cut there. That will hurt his momentum all the way downhill. And slotting up the inside goes Peter Neuendorf in the pot racer, number 66. And now Staffan Nilsson is going to fancy a go at Rashke as they go through turn 10. Now into 11, the left-hand hairpin. Well, not hairpin, it's a 9-degree left-hander. So Rashke looks like he's really struggling here down in 16th position. Louis Hesketh has retired from the race then. And he's gone 2 laps down, of course, as a result. And look at this, Horvath trying to go around the outside of Magnussen on the exit of the Andretti hairpin. And Pleiss is getting dragged back into this fight here as well. So we've got a three-way fight for 4th position now. Patrick Magnussen, with those incidents ahead of him, is now sort of just behind his 2 teammates on the road at least, even though he's about 1.2 seconds behind Noah Tuomela. But Magnussen he has the soft tyres. He has been closing actually by 3 seconds the previous lap on Tuomela. Tuomela's really hit trouble here on the mediums.
Surprising to see that, yeah.
Especially considering how close he got to pole position in qualifying. Luca Ray, meanwhile, extending that lead out to 2.5 seconds over Loic Mounier. And side by side goes Slovak and Morel. Slovak this time gets to the inside first, but will that compromise his exit in the 43? Look at Darren Wright. He's getting involved in this battle as well in the Crown Dental Group car just behind. They're brave on the brakes by Jurika Slovak to get into the top 10 there. 5 laps to go, and potentially we're about to see a 4-way fight for the podium, possibly a 5-way fight if Tom Hackett can close in. He's only 1.2 seconds behind the back of Pleiss, who's all over Horvath and Magnussen. And here we go. Horvath looks to the outside at the Andretti hairpin, but that could leave him vulnerable to Pleiss in the McNuggies car, who is shadowing him the whole way. Morel, now he's been overtaken around the outside actually by Darren Wright into the Andretti hairpin, and gets tapped in the back by Nick Homewood there. So Homewood might have to investigate himself for that one after the race.
Well, it's all up to me.
Of course, Pascal. But, you wouldn't do anything bad to a Finn Avon car, would you?
Never.
Under Birch, completely different story. But anyway, one of them is leading. Let's hope he gets to extend that lead from my point of view. But you will, of course, be hoping that Nick Homewood can mount impressive comeback through the field. I think Horvath is probably your best hope in 5th at the moment. Speaking of Horvath, here he is, forcing Magnussen into a mistake. And getting tapped in the back by Yannick Pleiss here. And all of this is dragging Tom Hackett towards them. Louis Hartley has actually dropped back as Hackett has actually set 1:27.7. A tenth faster than Pleiss in front of him, and significantly faster than Magnussen and Horvath, who are losing time, squabbling amongst each other. It's defensive from Magnussen into the final corner, and they're all just holding each other up here with just 3 laps to go.
Got some intense racing going on here.
We go Horvath then, slots to the outside. Magnussen has to be careful not to bump into him in the braking zone, into the Andretti hairpin. Horvath is going to try and dive around the outside, but Magnussen can just extend the corner, can push Finn Avon wide onto the gravel, and indeed he does so, and feeds him into the path of Yannick Pleiss. Now Pleiss will try and go around the outside, but nothing doing on that instance, so Pleiss will have to get clever, try and get the 260 up the inside then into turn 5. And here we go. He's going to try and complete that maneuver as they go downhill towards turn 6. We're about to make a long climb uphill. Can Yannick Pleiss brake later around the outside? And all the while, this is just helping Yannick Pleiss, Tom Hackett here, as Pleiss now side by side as they go uphill towards the Royal Hull Straight and turn 6. And completely off track goes the Finn Avon of Horvath. And surely Pleiss is going to have enough room to slot himself up the inside as Magnussen is starting to make a break for it now. Look how late Pleiss has to lock up on the brakes there. And now Tom Hackett could potentially be fighting for 6th position here next lap around.
It's some really tight, but mostly clean racing. I don't know if Magnussen needed to push out over there at turn 1 like that.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of maneuvers like that have been a bit borderline, haven't we? As here we go, slipstream being picked up once more by Horvath, but Hackett just about staying with them on the mediums impressively. So Pleiss and Hackett sort of in a similar position in terms of the tyre compound they chose going into this race as Neuendorf passes Peter Schoenemann for 13th. There we go. Neuendorf ran the outside, then Schoenemann did not get a good run out of the final corner. Morel now fancies a go at that 14th position then. So there's been this great fight behind, hasn't there? That we've only seen a few little bits of, but it's been raging on for these final couple of points positions, isn't it? Points going all the way down to 15th, if I'm not mistaken, or is it 10th?
Actually, I can't tell you right now. Perks of not racing there myself. But yeah, a lot of small little groups, very intense fighting all around the track, and surprisingly, everything still within 26 seconds.
Yes, exactly. So Luca Gray has been managing that gap. He's actually started going a bit slower than Loic Mounier up front. Got 1.6 seconds then. But we are about to start the penultimate lap then. So Luca Gray just has to survive another couple of tours. As we see yellow in the second sector. I'm not sure what that's about, as somebody seems to have cut the corkscrew. Head of Peter Schoenemann.
Looks like Nielsen went off track.
Stefan Nilsson drops down to 18th and last position of those still running. Meanwhile, Mark Horvath continues to try and fight back against Pleiss. And yeah, it's interesting because Pleiss was able to get past on the medium, so I wonder if the softs are just starting to need some management then on these final couple of laps, even with the rolling start. And look at that, just behind is that Van Leeuwen that has got past Hartley as well and is starting to close on Hackett. Here we go, a little bit onto the gravel and grass from Yannick Pleiss and Mark Horvath all over the back, ducking and diving. Pleiss understeering off track yet again. That will hurt his momentum then. Let's see what happens here. But Horvath is delayed quite significantly. And now Tom Hackett is all over the back of him in that Hunter Birch Goldtacular. And now just trying to set up a move through uphill through 5 and 6. There's Nick Homewood fighting away with Darren Wright then for 11th position. And Wright has been putting in a very, very solid drive here to keep Homewood at bay. And Homewood has not made the progress I think he would have hoped to on the soft tyre.
No, I also saw him practicing quite a bit, so I'm surprised he's not that as fast as he seemed to be in practice. I expect him to be a bit more up. No, Nick Homewood.
There we go. If it was Nick, then I definitely agree with you. Yeah, it's not been the most impressive run by him so far. But there is a Tom Hackett who has had a very, very impressive rookie performance here. Starting in 10th, now running in 7th, and right behind Mark Horvath. But Van Leeuwen could challenge him on the soft tier as we are on the final lap of the race. Luca Gray leads by 2 seconds from Loic Mounier. Then it's Tuomela, Magnussen, Pleiss, Horvath, Hackett. And Van Leeuwen has got up the inside of Hackett into the Andretti hairpin as Neuendorf is dueling away with Schoenemann for 13th position. There they are then. So Van Leeuwen has managed to complete the move up the inside through 3. He'll try and complete the move into 4 as well. So there we go. Neuendorf completes his overtake on Peter Schoenemann, the number 69.
Battle of the Peters.
Exactly, yes. It looks like Neuendorf, the new blood, is the one that comes out on top rather than old Peter Schoenemann. Luca Gray now 2 seconds still ahead of Loic Mounier, is rapidly approaching the finish line through the final sector. He's starting now. And what an excellent drive. A little bit of a challenge from Tuomela at the start, but Gray has just kept things completely under control from the start, and it's going to be his second win of the season as he goes through the final corner now. And the second win of the season for Hunter Birch Simulation, the reigning team's champions. Luca Gray, fabulous drive from the Englishman. Loic Mounier will finish second. Noah Tuomela makes it a KV86 Powerhouse 2-3. But look at this. Horvath having a last gasp attempt to pass Yannick Pleiss. Pleiss goes a bit wide, but he's just able to hold on to 5th position there as they cross the finish line. And Peter Schoenemann certainly hasn't given up trying to battle with Neuendorf, but it's going to be too little too late for old Peter then. It's Peter Neuendorf that gets through. There we go, the last few finishes crossing the line now. Rashke beats Pajoud to 16th position, and Nilsson 2 laps down, so I think Nilsson must have had to go into the pit lane.
Yeah, I think he did. Okay then.
But he has finished the race as well.
Replace.
Hopefully we can see 1 or 2 replays before the server ticks over. There we go. This is Homeward. Won the opening laps. Whoa, lifting the wheels, no wonder. And hitting the wall as well. So maybe Nick Homeward had a lot of damage after that one there. He was he was sent flying there. Nick Homeward Airlines in service. And there's Hesketh. That's what happened to him. Similar issue at turn 6. And he's just trying to reverse down the track there, which is not the most sensible driving from Louis.
An interesting way to return on the track.
I would not be surprised to see Louis Hesketh getting a penalty for that one. And then it's just a few laps later, he just goes straight on and, hits the wall very hard as well. So Louis Hesketh showing exactly why he's been demoted from the point-scoring car. Oh, and this is the Pajard incident with Slovenak. Slovenak, who did eventually finish the race in 10th. But yeah, Pajard, I think, will not be feeling the best pleased with his teammate there because he moves across on him. Yeah, stands as Pajard, a pretty innocent victim there. Let's throw on board with Hartley. This is him. Oh, he locked up and hit the back of Van Leeuwen there. Nothing that Thijs Van Leeuwen could have done to avoid that. And Hartley, to be fair, just an honest mistake. Too late on the brakes, too heavy on the brakes, and he just went straight on. And this is, this is where Tuomela lost 3 seconds as well by going wide off track then. But he'd already given up position to Mounier before that had happened, interestingly. And this is Nilsson. Oh, just spinning and having a heavy impact with the wall as well. That'll completely damage the engine and the front bumper too. Here's Neuendorf trying to go around the outside of Schumann and being spun around. Oh, well held actually by Peter Neuendorf. And I wonder if Schumann is about to back off in sympathy here. Yeah, indeed he does so. So actually fair play from Peter Schumann. So did Neuendorf sort of turn across on him? Thought he was clear, but actually he wasn't. And then ends up having to Tokyo drift.
Anyone is to blame for that, but Peter feels like he wasn't properly alongside probably and lets him through. That's what you want to see.
Oh, and then he gives him a little tap to push him onwards for turn 3.
Okay, that's it from the replays.
Alright, so shall we recap the results then?
We shall.
So Luca Gray takes his second victory of the season from Loic Mounier and Noah Tuomela to the 3 KV86 powerhouses together with Magnussen in 4th. Yannick Pleiss finishes the race in 5th ahead of Mark Horvath. Then it is Thijs Van Leeuwen and debutant Tom Hackett that finishes 8th ahead of Louis Hartley. Then there's Jurka Slovenak that rounds out the top 10 from the very back of the grid. Nick Homeward finishes 11th after going flying at one point. Peter Neuendorf ends up just finishing behind Darren Wright, I'm told. Then it is Peter Schumann in 14th, losing the Battle of the Peters. Marcin Morel, 15th. Thomas Raschke, 16th. Stanislas Pajard, 17th. With Nilsson, the final finisher, in 18th. And Louis Hesketh not reaching the checkered flag.
Yeah, definitely a very intense race everywhere in the field. I think, didn't Hackett say he wanted to give it the first try in the league? I think that first race was something you want to have more often. I think he was
I think Oliver Hargitay is going to try and get on the grid as well, if he can, because I know he's in chat with the others. Luca Gray is saying, I won't be on pole. Is interesting. Sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted by these messages in the chat.
Why won't he be on pole?
I don't know why.
Maybe he thinks it's already reverse grid, but probably not.
Yeah, I'll just remind him of that. Luca is saying that Mounier was quick at the end, so it gave him a bit of a fright there. But of course, with the ballast changing, it could be a bit trickier for Luca Gray to try and make it 2 in a row here. Got to say. Who's got the sauce for race 2? Let's have a look then. Got Alexander Serema, who I don't think's here. Darren Wright, who finished just outside the top 10. Peter Neuendorf, Stefan Nilsson, Stanislas Pajard, Tom Hackett, who of course doesn't have his 75 kilogram new driver ballast as well. So that would have been holding him back in race 1. And yeah, I think actually Hackett might be the highest placed of those on the soft tyres.
Yeah. I definitely can see him going up to order in the second race. Solid race from him there.
Let me see.
Are we waiting for someone? I wonder. I don't think anyone dropped out of the server. I don't see any message from Nick either that we would wait.
Yeah, Hargitai's made it in, which is good. So despite internet issues ruling out of race 1, he's using the softs in race 3, luckily. So it's not a total loss. If he can gain some places in race 2, he could set himself up well for race 3.
Can definitely see that happening.
Here we go. So the grid's setting itself up then. It will be, of course, the order from the finishing results of race 1. Luca Gray on pole position, ahead of Loic Mounier, Noto Mella, Patrick Magnussen, Yannick Pleiss, Mark Horvath, Thijs van Leeuwen, Tom Hackett, Louis Hartley, Jurka Slovanek. That's your top 10. Then Nick Homewood is 11th, ahead of Peter Nurendorf, Peter Schoenemann, Marcin Morel, Thomas Raschke, Stanislas Bajard, Stefan Nilsson, Darren Wright, and Oliver Hargitai bringing up the rear in 19th position. So we did lose somebody from race 1, but we got Hargitai to fill in instead. Now we've got 5 Hunter Birch cars.
That be done. I can't make out who we're missing right now.
So everybody's on the mediums, I believe, apart from Darren Wright, Peter Nurendorf, Stefan Nilsson, Stanislas Bajard, and Tom Hackett. That's 5 drivers in total.
No, I don't see Louis Hesketh in the server anymore. That's probably
Okay. He's probably lost interest after crashing out in race 1. We should see another rolling start then that Luca Gray will do his best to control. So actually it will still be the same 4 Hunter Birch cars then from before. Is that a fan in the background, or is that the sound of the game? No, it's definitely a fan, Pascal.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not cancelling it out. It usually does.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Let's go.
Right, let's see if anything interesting's been written in the chat. No, it's just kicked me out of the... yeah. As Luca Gray leads the warm-up lap. Lots of support for Louis Hartley. Very vocal support, actually. Come on, Hartley, woo. Effing let's go. Hartley kick his backside. And then Maurice Sen C says, Nick can have my whole wood. Interesting. People don't start making puns about our names, Pascal. Like,
Yeah.
but anyway, so Luca Gray then will seek to repeat his success, but of course he's got those 75 kilos of success ballast, hasn't he? So Moynier, Tuomela, Magnussen, Pleiss, Horvath, Van Leeuwen, Hackett, Hartley, and Slovak all behind will be on less ballast, progressively less ballast. Hackett, of course, will be on the softs, and he's the highest placed of those who are. So he could well be a threat to Van Leeuwen and Horvath, who he was fighting with, remember, at the end of race 1. Is look at how bunched up they're all getting. Luca Gray is thinking about when to go here, maybe trying to help Hargitay, his teammate, sister team, and Rashke near the back as well. He doesn't want to let go before those two have reached the final corner, essentially, because that could lead them to getting caught out. Into the final corner we go, turn 11. Luca Gray will have his hands full of 3 KV86 powerhouses, so it's going to be quite the uphill struggle to stay in the lead here. But let's see what happens. Luca Gray coasts towards the line. When does he get going? Oh, now. And it looks like Tuomela, Moynier, and Magnussen are all squabbling with each other, and Pleiss is getting involved, trying to go around the outside. As look at that, Hackett trying to go around the outside as well. As Louis Hartley gets past him, and Hackett is forced a long way around at the Andretti hairpin. But it's Luca Gray that's made a clean break at the start. Moynier is second. Pleiss has got past 2 of the KV86 powerhouses into 3rd position. And Mark Horvath has made a very bad start. He's dropped to 9th then behind Tom Hackett. But Hartley has gained a place ahead of Hackett, surprisingly. And look at this. A little bit of grass cutting there. That's going to hurt Luca Gray. He looks so slow down the straight. Moynier takes the lead then on the opening lap. He's got the inside line, hits the side of Luca Gray into turn 6. And this is going to allow Yannick Pleiss to get involved as well. Look at this side by side. Luca Gray refuses to give up then as they go uphill down the Rahal straight. And he's pulled back ahead then. So, and look at how much the top 5 are all bunching together here as Luca Gray pulls across at the corkscrew. Brilliant comeback there and defensive drive there. Yeah, a tough but fair. And Luca Gray, Moynier would have to wake up a bit earlier in the morning to get one over on Luca Gray. But another bad run, actually, out of the rainy curve. Into turn 10 we go. And is Loic Moynier going to dive inside at the final corner? Luca Gray tries to squeeze him just a little bit. But luckily, no harm done there. Tom Hackett has repassed Louis Hartley for 7th position. And look at this, there they are. Hackett, didn't quite have enough space to pull across, so he'll have to complete the move into the Andretti hairpin then. And it looks like Louis Hartley's going to break late and hold the inside then. So Tom Hackett is really struggling to get the benefit of these softs, and makes more contact actually with the rear of Louis Hartley. Peter Neuendorf has had the roughest start to the race, dropping down to 19th behind Thomas Rashke on his soft tyres. It's Pleiss, though, that is probably the fastest man on track at the moment, but he's not quite able to use that pace, stuck behind Moynier and Gray, with Gray defending incredibly well then, despite having more ballast than Moynier. And Pleiss especially will be the big danger here if Moynier can't get through. How much they're mounting that curb there. You don't want to nick home with it and fly off into the scenery. But Moynier getting very, very close as they go towards the corkscrew, and Luca Gray immediately cuts to the inside before pulling back out to the racing line. And that's Tuomela in trouble. And he has to cut across the chicane, surely.
It was close. It could have been very bad considering how tight the field is.
And again, Moynier gets very close out of rainy curve and into turn 10. This time, Luca Gray once more sees it coming. And look back here, Patrick Magnussen has got Hartley attacking him. And now Hackett tries to go around the outside of Hartley, and he's going to try and make a double move there. But he does. It's not every day you see someone go around the outside of Louis Hartley. So excellent opportunities there from Tom Hackett as Peter Neuendorf enters the pit lane. And Gray sets the fastest lap of the race, just under 2 tenths then, ahead of Loic Moynier there. But he has to stay on his toes. This isn't going to be anywhere near as easy as race 1. And look at this now. Horvath fancies a go at Louis Hartley and almost pushes Hartley off onto the gravel there. But Hartley holds his line, and Horvath has to try and cut underneath then into turns 3 and 4. And actually, well done there by Horvath. Will have to try and hold that around the outside, but he drifts off. And now Hackett is going to go side by side with Patrick Magnussen, who doesn't get the best run into turns 5 and 6. There we go. Tom Hackett up to 6th position then. Slowly but surely, he's gaining those places on the soft tyre. He is the danger man at the moment. Look at this. Schoenemann going side by side with Nick Homeward once more and almost pushing Peter Schumann onto the curb there. Is Homeward. Look at this. Moynier around the outside of Luca Gray at the corkscrew onto the blue stuff. And there we go. Luca Gray just able to sweep back around the outside to the racing line. And this is very, very intense here. And Pleiss is really threatening the both of them here, but especially Loic Moynier right now.
Yeah, I don't know where to cut to. Currently, everywhere is just battle after battle.
It is, and it's Luca Gray that still leads the charge then as we start lap 5 then of 12. And Moynier, the problem is the more Moynier gets stuck here, the more he has to worry about Pleiss, who's got less ballast, remember, on that car. It's Luca Gray, as long as he just makes himself an immovable object, but a bit of a mistake then into the Andretti hairpin, and Loic Moynier's getting physical here. He's going to try and go around the outside into turn 3, and Luca Gray, almost having to extend the corner just that little bit, just about stays on track then. So, it's a skin of the teeth, seat of the pants stuff for Luca Gray, and holding on to this lead is he, cuts a little bit of grass there to try and throw it in the face of Moynier. Moynier now cuts to the outside for turn 5. He's going to have to try and go the long way around, but that's much too deep. This is going to allow Pleiss then up the inside of him, and this is very, very good news for Yannick Pleiss, because now he is in touching distance of the race lead, and he's got much less ballast than Loic Moynier, so he should be able to potentially breeze past Luca Gray on the straights if he can get the good exit here, and Luca Gray doesn't defend in time. But there we go. This was not what KV86 Powerhouse needed.
Yeah, Pleiss did the smart thing. You saw him the previous corners already, always staying a bit back, seeing that the others two make a mistake, and then go for the gap, and that's exactly what he did there. Nice move.
Yeah, looks like Stanislas Pajard is in the pits. Look at this, Pleiss diving up the inside into turn 11 and almost pushing Luca Gray off track there, bullying his way through. But Yannick Pleiss with that late move has taken the lead. Now they're all slipstreaming each other. Luca Gray pushes Loic Moynier into the wall there. That was a bit sketchy. I think Luca thought he was a bit further ahead than he actually was there, and he's lost 2 positions as a result there as he taps the back of Loic Moynier. Tuomela now has got through into 2nd position. Sure what your thoughts are on that. It looks like Luca Gray got a little bit of damage there from being sort of pushing himself into the wall by tapping the back of the KV86 car, or tapping the front of it, I should say.
It looked like Pleiss wanted to give Moynier the slipstream. They're kind of entangled with each other, from what I know, so Luca didn't want to let that happen, but Loic already had the overlap there, and at least it wasn't a big crash.
Took there, that car not handling as well as before now. And now Van Leeuwen and Hackett in the Hunter Birch Gold Tacular are going to come into play here. There we go. Van Leeuwen looks for the inside. Hackett, he's in a voice chat actually with Luca Gray at the moment, so he will be very, very careful here, making sure he doesn't come a cropper with his teammate. They'll know exactly where each other are and what they're planning to do here. And look at this. Hackett now takes the opportunity to try and challenge around the outside into turn 10 then. And he's going to try and make a dive up the inside into turn 11. But now he's got Magnussen coming back at him around the outside then. So Hackett has to be assertive here, as a little bit of grass cutting for Vijs Van Leeuwen then. So Luca Gray is just fighting to hold on to 4th position here. Meanwhile, Yannick Pleiss is comfortably in the lead from Tuomela and Moynier. Nilsson is all over the back of Oliver Hargatai, who from the very back of the grid has gotten up to 13th position there. As there we go, Moynier back ahead of Noah Tuomela. So the 2 KV86 is swapping position once more.
Yeah, this field's still so close together. 8 seconds after 6 laps. I don't think we've had that this season so far.
We were saying the same after race 1, weren't we? But yeah, look at Louis Hartley behind Horvath. Hartley's not really made the progress I think he would have hoped to. Lots of support for him in the chat there. So look at this. Hackett now having another go on those softs on Vijs Van Leeuwen. And look how sketchy it is over the curbs there. as we see somebody going all the way off into the wall in the background. That was one of the Finner Vons as all Hackett touches the back of Van Leeuwen as they go towards the corkscrew, and Hackett is going to try and push his way through and spins Van Leeuwen around, and that could get the rookie driver into some trouble there.
Yeah, it's gonna be looked at after the race for sure.
Yeah, there we go. So a little bit like the Hartley Van Leeuwen incident. Van Leeuwen gets pushed around once more by another driver into the corkscrew. And now Hackett is going to try and take the position back from Patrick Magnussen, who slipped through, but Magnussen almost forces him onto the gravel there. And that's going to allow Mark Horvath back up the inside. And Peter Schumann has joined the party as well. Then 5 laps to go. The order is Pleiss, Moynier, Tuomela, Gray, Magnussen, Horvath, Hackett, Schumann, Homewood, and Slovenak. Thomas Raschke, the latest driver to go down pit lane at the moment. Oh, and look at that. Was that not Tuomela, that was Magnussen going a bit off track there as we see Louis Hartley battling with Staffan Nilsson, and Nilsson goes up the inside of Hartley. Hartley just looked completely at sea on those medium tyres at this phase of the race.
Yeah, he was the one who was in the wall. I don't think he has the car set up for this track. At least he doesn't look very comfortable.
Look at this, another attempt from Hackett to go around the outside of Magnussen. Magnussen just holding them up, which is really helping out Mark Horvath here. And I think actually Horvath has got past, because of that mistake from Magnussen at the Andretti hairpin, it looks like Horvath has got through as well because of that. And it's really given a lot of breathing space to Luca Gray, who was being caught by this pack just before that happened. But now Luca Gray's got a bit more space to himself. As look at that, Hackett under attack from Schumann into the rainy turn 9. Oh, a little bit wide from Schumann. That puts him a little bit off track, but just about holds on to that one as Magnussen starting to look like he wants to get back ahead of Horvath. Hackett, though, has still got those softs at his disposal, so he could be a threat in the battle for 5th then in these closing stages. 3 laps to go, and Pleiss leads Moynier by a second. Moynier took 4 tenths out of him the previous lap. And then he's got 1.2 seconds to Tuomela, who is 1.4 seconds ahead of Luca Gray. Then we got Mark Horvath, 2.4 seconds behind. And then you see the battle for yourself on screen. Magnussen and Hackett going tooth and nail as Horvath does. A little bit of track extending there. This is Hackett up the inside, and he taps Magnussen around. That didn't look intentional there, but just had to commit. And unfortunately, where he committed was exactly where the rear tire of Magnussen was.
Yeah, I don't know if Magnussen maybe cut across a bit early there.
We'll have to see the replay on that one at some point. As look at this, Nilsson, now he's got past Hartley. Oh no, it's Van Leeuwen actually, sorry. Of course, got tapped around earlier. Nilsson has fallen back behind Darren Wright. And is now trying to fight his way back ahead. You see Morel in the background as well, starting to close on them. But Wright and Nilsson, remember, both on the soft tyres. This is the race where those on the soft tyres have not made as much progress as I think they would have hoped to. As look at that. Is that Magnussen defending from Hartley then after making another mistake through the corkscrew. And Hartley was nearly pushed off track there by Patrick Magnussen.
And look who is in P9 now, almost P8.
Slovenak going side by side with Oliver Hargitay. So Hargitay has sneaked his way back into the top 10 then. Hackett now has got 6th place to himself. So I think Hackett must have come together with Magnussen again and come out, or Magnussen made a mistake on his own potentially. As Loic Moynier, it's fastest lap of the race, 1:27.2. Take another 2 tenths out as look at this Hartley battling away with Magnussen and Wright and Nilsson right behind, looking to take advantage. Magnussen goes wide a little bit through the Andretti hairpin. Nilsson fancies a go at Darren Wright as well. And look at this now, they're going 2 rows side by side. Magnussen makes a mistake, holds up. Louis Hartley and Nilsson touches the side of Magnussen, but him and Darren Wright have made their way through somehow. Now here comes Van Leeuwen. Magnussen having to defend. He can't defend from both Finner Vons, and he makes contact with Louis Hartley. Oh, yeah.
I didn't have that off my bingo card. Darren Wright and Stefan Niesel both going through in the middle of that battle. That was something else.
I can't believe this. Nick Homewood has caught up to Tom Hackett now in the battle for 5th position. I don't know where Nick's come from, but
oh yeah,
yeah, that's suddenly hotted up. He's 8 tenths behind. I thought he was significantly ahead of Homewood as Raschke sets the fastest lap of the race, having pit for fresh tyres. And look at this, the battle for the lead. Moynier, just as forced the long way around at turn 11 by Yannick Pleiss. Pleiss defends well then. I think Luca Gray has really hit trouble because he's dropped down to 15th position.
Yeah, we saw him in the background
No
there
idea
in
what
the
happened to
gravel
Luca.
somewhere.
Oh dear, so the steering must have got too bad as downright goes off track there. And this is Hargitay now challenging the back of Slovenak. But yeah, Wright loses 2 positions to Magnussen and Nilsson. Now Van Leeuwen is going up the inside of him as well into the Andretti hairpin then. Oh, double move. They just dived up the inside, or kamikaze dive on Magnussen. Now they're all just playing bumper cars on exit there as Magnussen finds himself being made a bit of a pinball. Moynier, though, has not given up on pursuit of the race lead. Remember, Moynier is still the championship leader, looking to extend that lead significantly here. Hackett has pulled out a gap to Nick Homewood, though, and is starting to close a little bit on Mark Horvath once more, 1.2 seconds up the road. But it's Moynier versus Pleiss. That's probably the closest battle as Hargitay in the very back of the grid to 8th. He's had a real storming drive then on the medium tyre, him and Slovenak.
Yeah, and he's gonna have the soft
Rashke
tires
goes back into the pits again
in the
for
next
some
race.
reason.
And the reverse grid was gonna help him a lot as well. So Hargitay is definitely in the seat to have a chance for a win in Raid 3.
Oh, Moynier now commits to the outside for turn 11 as we're about to start the final lap of the race, and he gets a much better exit than Pleiss this time as Hackett has got one final shot at passing Mark Horvath for 4th position as Hargitay, his teammate, continues to challenge Jurika Slovenak. Look at this, Magnussen diving around the outside of Hartley and then coming off second best. Then Moynier still 2 tenths behind Pleiss as Hackett has to set up a move. Oh, switches back to the inside at the Andretti hairpin. Brilliant racecraft from Tom Hackett, who gets himself up to 4th position now. But Moynier is all over the back of Yannick Pleiss. Pleiss going for his 2nd win of the season here, but Moynier determined to snatch it off him and to add to his litany of wins so far this season.
Better
Here we
exit
go
for
for the
Moynier.
final time. And Moynier will have to set up the move. Here we go onto the Rahal Straight. And it's a very similar run, but Moynier that a little bit quicker. Will he do a kamikaze dive or at the corkscrew? Unfortunately, Pleiss moves to the inside of the fence, but it's being pushed along by Loic Moynier there. So interesting defensive driving from Pleiss. I think it's going to have to be do or die at these final few corners. For Moynier, he's going to have to hope that Yannick Pleiss stumbles here at the final hurdle. But here we go. Through the final 2 corners we go. A little bit of grass being cut. Moynier is going to once again commit to the outside and hope he gets the line into the run. And it's going to be a drag race to the line then. Can Yannick Pleiss hold on to victory? He's just a 10th ahead. And it's Yannick Pleiss that wins race 2 at Laguna Seca from Loic Moynier. And here we go. Oh, off into the gravel goes Slovenak. And Hargitay is going to take 7th on the run to the line. Brilliant from the back of the grid to P7 as Hartley is in the kitty litter there. And he's just going to hold on to 12th from Patrick Magnussen. Messy race for the pair of them, frankly, but they survive. And there's Neuendorf just beaten to the line by Luca Gray, who started, of course, on pole position. What could have been for Luca? It was really that collision with Moynier that set him back in this race.
Yeah, I don't know
Was
what
that
happened to
mistake a bit later
Sherman to
on?
be so far down the order, but yeah, what a race.
I have to get my breath back a little bit after that.
Yeah, understandably.
Here we go. This is the first lap then. Morel, is tapped by Thomas Rashke. That looked a bit like, in fact, I want to sound too biased. The first lap incident is now down right, is all tapped around by Neuendorf and slaps again across the wall. Look at that. That was on the McNuggies cars. Slovenak defending there as Rashke. Rashke has to avoid him as he as downright rejoins there.
But Neuendorf slowing down there to let Wright back on track. That's exactly the thing you should do there. And sinkhole techniques.
Pajoud phases through the floor as he lets Rashke through there. That's why Pajoud did not finish the race. He was 3 laps down, I think, on the end, on the lead. And here's Rashke. Oh, my goodness me. Just losing the rear end and finding the wall. Oh, so this is why he entered the pit lane then. A bit of a clumsy mistake there from Thomas, carrying way too much speed. And there's Slovenak sliding out the final corner and losing a ton of places and emerging right just in front of Hargitay. So Slovenak repeated that mistake on the final lap and 7th position. There's a consequence, and there's Hartley losing the back end of flow. So it was him we saw hitting the wall. No wonder he was struggling in the second half of the race quite so much. And this is Van Leeuwen and Hackett. Yeah, Hackett thought he was already alongside there, wasn't he? Look, he's already a little bit alongside. Tries to dive in, can't really back out. Yeah, I'm going to say racing.
The same. 2 into 1 don't go, and like maybe Van Leeuwen should have been a bit more space given there.
I do feel a bit sorry for Van Leeuwen because the second time that's happened to him today. As there's Schoenemann. Oh! Doing some acrobatics there, Peter. Well, never let it be said that Peter is anything but a showman. But there we go, landing back the right. You can almost see him in the background as we see this Magnussen. Oh, and that's yeah, I think maybe he turned across a little bit on Hackett there, but
yeah, but
in the
Hackett
end, he was the one who lost
really
out.
have to overlap there, so should have not stuck his nose there maybe. But let's see.
It's sort of similar to the Van Leeuwen incident, isn't it? A little bit.
But he was more along there than with.
Oh, and this is what happened to Luca Gray then, spinning into the gravel then out of turn 6, and the rear just taps into the wall. It's the most frustrating thing for Luca. Loses a whole bunch of places there, so from 0 to 0 stuff, unfortunately, for Luca Gray. As what you're about to show me there for Pajal there. What happened to him? Did he flip over as well?
To the next session, it looks like.
I'm going to assume Pajal flipped over and did a somersault, just like we saw Peter Schumann do. Argatai points out 12 positions gained. Rashka says fastest lap. And we're about to see the draw for who's going to start on reverse group pole then. 10th position. So who finished 10th in race 2?
Let us look at the results anyway. We still have those open.
Okay then.
This one. Oh yeah, the game is loading in, that's why.
Alright, I'll look at it myself then. Here we go. I think it was Van Leeuwen who finished 10th, just by Nilsson, didn't he? So the results are, just to remind you, Yannick Pleiss takes victory in race 2 by just under a 10.5 from Loic Moinio because they crossed the line. Noah Tuomela was third ahead of Tom Hackett in 4th on his first ever event with Hunter Birchgold-Tacular on the soft tyres. A great run there. Nick Homewood finishes 5th, his best result of the season so far, I believe, ahead of Mark Horvath. Oliver Hargatai gained 12 positions from 19th and last to finish 7th, ahead of Jericho Slovanak, who just dipped into the gravel right at the end. Safan Nilsson finishes 9th. Van Leeuwen is going to take reverse grid pole on the front row with Nilsson. Darren Wright, he finishes 11th ahead of Louis Hartley. Patrick Magnussen finishes 13th ahead of Marcin Morel. Then it's Luca Gray from pole to a lowly 15th after a couple of mistakes there. Peter Nurendorf 16th. Peter Schoenemann 17th. The two Peters inseparable as always, although this time they are separated by a lap. Thomas Raschke is the final finisher, I believe, despite being another lap down. And then Pajal, our non-finisher, after crashing out near the beginning.
Yeah, what a race that was.
Just one more to go then. And I'm sure there's going to be tribulations out of that one after that one. But the soft tire runners for race 3, we have Jericho Slovanak, of course, who, of course, is going to start from he's going to start from 3rd, isn't he? Because he finished 8th in race 2 there. Louis Hartley, who will start 12th. Louis Hesketh, who's given up, so he won't get to use his soft tires. Sad for him. Marcin Morel, another driver just outside the top 10. Noah Tuomela has saved the softs until race 3, so he'll be starting from about 7th, I think. Oliver Hargatai, who will start from, I think, 3rd or 4th on the grid. Thomas Raschke, who will start from near the back. And Yannick Pleiss, who will start from 10th. Those are your soft tire runners.
Looking at how the first 2 races went, now with the reverse grid, this is gonna be... It might be even better than the second one, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too.
A lot more soft tires too in this one, so... Gonna be frantic, I think.
I certainly wouldn't be race 3 if it was anything ever but frantic. But if race 2 is anything to go by, we've got an absolute thriller in store.
Yep.
So, yeah, the question is, can Faiz van Leeuwen hold on to that pole position, or will he be overtaken into turn 1?
Yeah, I think race 1 and 2 combined makes this race definitely the race of the season so far.
You've got to be watching out for Hargitay and Slovanak then.
Yeah, definitely.
In 3rd and 4th. Both on the soft tyres then. So if they can clear Nilsson quickly, Van Leeuwen could be a tougher nut to crack though. But Nilsson, you would expect, is going to struggle to finish in the top 10, despite starting from 2nd on the front row.
I mean, yeah, he's not that aggressive as you probably need to be here. Because that's just how he is.
He could be a forgiven thing, ain't that, seeing him in some of the battles a bit lower down. But yeah, he also used the softs in race 2, which I'm sure he'll be ruining now. So.
But the fact that he does start in P2, I think, gonna be an enjoyment for him already.
We're just looking at Luca Gray. Just getting a few more warm-up laps in ahead of race number 3, where he will start from 15th position on the grid. Ahead of his teammate Thomas Raschke, at least, who is on the softs. But it could be a little bit of a tricky one for Luca now, not having that pole position advantage, or being anywhere in the top 10, of course. There's still 19 drivers out there, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. No, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them on the softs then. So it should be much more of a factor, the soft tyre, than it was in race 2.
Definitely.
Although we did see Tom Hackett use it to very, very good effect, actually, to get that P4. Thomas is saying he thinks he's going to get disqualified. Is that for tapping somebody around on the first lap, or has he put the wrong tyres on it? Pitting twice isn't a penalty in itself. So Thomas is saying after he went into the wall and pit for repairs, he put on softs, which he probably shouldn't have done. Since he was basically last anyway, I think being disqualified won't be too big an issue.
Yeah, that disqualification won't do much. to his standings then. And to the grid we go.
Yep, there we go. So final race of the day, about to get underway with Thijs van Leeuwen, Stefan Nilsson on the front row.
I can't wait for this one.
I think you say that before every race, but
Yeah. But I'm always
this is turning into a good track for touring cars, isn't it? Actually,
yeah, definitely.
I think it's a bit of a roller coaster ride as well.
It is, and
gradient changes.
A lot of different lines you can take. You saw a lot of people going side by side and still not slowing each other down too much.
Another warm-up session beginning then.
Okay. Must there be
Hopefully
something
something
wrong
going
with
on
the
behind the
standings? I think Moynier wasn't in the server as Nick set the grid, and that's why he was in the wrong position.
Well, Luca Great doesn't seem to care because it means he gets even more practice laps then. I have a feeling Luca's been practicing quite a lot for this round because he was very, very quick in qualifying, getting pole position. And that's really shone through in the races as well. He seems very, very fired up to make up for the disappointment of race 2. It'll be interesting to see, even on the medium tyre, whether he can make up a few places, sneak his way into the top 10. That would probably be a good finish today for him. He has still got another win under his belt, which he will be, no doubt, fairly pleased with. It's starting to get dark outside now. I think I might shut the curtains and turn the light on before race 3 begins.
Spotlight on race 3. That looks better now with the grid.
Right, so race 3 now finally about to begin. Louis Hartley goes into the chat and says brain dead activity in the chat, to be honest. So he doesn't seem to like all the people cheering him on. Some cheers for Tom Hackett as well. Come on, Hackett, says Luke Gibbons. And then he says, oh, bad timing. I think that was just as he got pushed out the way. MGL says favoritism with the cameras. Xcart Dizzy says we want Hackett. Let's see if he can hack it come race 3. Sorry. Couldn't resist. That's the second really bad pun I've made today.
As you should. There's never enough puns.
I think it was the Peter new and old Peter.
Yeah.
Differentiate between the two. But there we go. Van Leeuwen then leads us away for the formation lap for the final race of the day here at Laguna Seca in sunny California.
Let's see if we get a different approach to the race start compared to Luca from him.
Yeah, it could be interesting because where are all the other Finna Bond cars? We've got Hartley 4th on the grid, Horvath 7th, Homewood 8th, Schooneman the lowest placed one, I think, in 11th. So none of them are that far down the grid in the scheme of things, so he might go a bit earlier. Or might have an incentive to try and basically disadvantage all the Honda Birch cars that are a bit further down, like Rashke, Hargitay. Hargitay's for some reason in 18th.
No, I don't think it's right yet for you. If
okay.
The standings look right to me. Yeah, Hargitay is in 4th.
There we go. Hargitay is 4th. Sorry.
I definitely see Hagetai being able to get that one.
Yeah, sorry, I needed to refresh the thing. That was the problem on race view. Faiz Van Leeuwen and Stefan Nielsen on the front row from Jurika Slovenak, Oliver Hagetai in row 2, both on the soft tyres, those two, so watch for them. Mark Horvath and Nick Homewood on row 3, Tom Hackett and Noah Tuomela on row 4 with Tuomela on the soft tyre, Loic Moynier and Yannick Pleiss on row 5 with Pleiss on the soft tyre, then row 6 Dan Wright and Louis Hartley with Hartley on the soft tyre. Row 7, Patrick Magnussen and Marcin Morel on the soft tyre. And row 8, Luca Gray and Peter Neuendorf. Row 9, Peter Schumann and Thomas Raschke on the soft tyre. And then bringing up the rear, Stanislas Pajard after crashing out from race 2. But look at this. Van Leeuwen has slowed right down. Is he going to go? Once they get to the final corner here, he's coasting, trying to catch Stefan Nielsen out. Now weaving the tyres, the green flag flies, so he will dictate the pace then. He's doing exactly what we saw almost, but goes a little bit earlier to catch Stefan Nielsen out there. There we go. So Van Leeuwen leads the field away as we get racing underway here at Laguna Seca for the final time today. Nielsen has held on to second from Slovenak there. Remember, Slovenak on the soft, as is Hagetai immediately behind him. Then Horvath, Homewood, Hackett, and then the two KV86s, Tuomela, all hitting the side of Loic Moynier then. So Noah Tuomela is going to struggle to hold on to position there, and Moynier gets through. A little bit of wheel lifting from Moynier there, I thought, actually. But it's actually Tuomela that's held on to position from Loic Moynier then, and Yannick Pleiss, he's on the softs too. So important that Tuomela, Moynier, and Pleiss don't all battle with each other, because they've got progress to make further up the field. Hackett now is starting to hold up Noah Tuomela.
Clean race that once again.
Indeed it was. Luca Gray already has made a position up to 14th ahead of Marcin Morel. Raschke has made another terrible start, fallen down to 18th position. And look at this, Tom Hackett really holding up the two KV86 powerhouse cars. And there we go, Louis Hartley completely off track then. That's another position for Luca Gray then, as Hartley completely cuts the corkscrew. Gray just seems like a man on a mission on this first lap. 2 places gained already, and Magnussen gets a bit sideways. Here comes place number 3 then for Luca Gray. If he can be brave around the outside here, it's going to be tricky not to get pushed off track. And in fact, Magnussen leaves plenty of space, as now Tuomela on his soft tyres fancies a run at Hackett then, but Nielsen is under attack from, that looks like Slovenak then, who cuts up the inside of him at the Andretti hairpin, then gets sideways again on exit, which allows Hagetai to swing through. They're going to be side by side then as they go into turn 3. Does Nielsen leave enough room for Hagetai? Dives back up the inside, but Hagetai will get the cutback underneath him as they now approach turn 4, and that's Hagetai's corner. Surely, there we go. Nielsen has to back off, but that little bit of contact could allow Slovenak to start to break away, and here comes Horvath then up the inside of Nielsen. So Stefan Nielsen is getting mugged every corner now on lap 3, sorry. Just about emerging ahead there, Horvath. Well, Tuomela has got past Hackett and he's set a purple first sector then. There he is. So now Tom Hackett finds himself in a KV86 sandwich, the KV86 breaded sandwich. And in fact, they're both ahead now. Moynier's got the inside into the corkscrew. Hackett, just trying to disappear around the outside. And now he's got Pleiss to deal with as well. So Tom Hackett, maybe a little bit of inexperience shown there, as he once Tuomela got through. Moynier powered through as well on his mediums. Luca Gray has fallen back down to 19th and last position, so he's hit trouble somewhere as Magnussen tries to go up the inside of Dan Wright then at the final corner. And now Pleiss is going up the inside. As Magnussen just pushes Dan Wright off track there at turn 11 then. And look at that. That's side by side between Tuomela and Nick Homewood then. Homewood is going to find himself around the outside, flashes his lights actually at Noah Tuomela then, as Nielsen is starting to hold up Mark Horvath ahead of them. And so Tuomela will try and complete the move around the outside, but cuts a little bit of the grass. That will hurt his momentum then as they go towards turn 3. And contact between Tuomela and Homewood as Tuomela just dies up the inside of him. He's done with Nick Homewood at this point, and I'm not sure Nick's going to feel too pleased about that one.
He released the brakes, slides underneath him there. Bit of a sketchy move.
Slovenak set fastest lap of the race, a 10th quicker than Van Leeuwen. He's closing on him for the overall lead, and he's 6/10 ahead of Hagetai then. So if Slovenak can clear Van Leeuwen quickly, then he could be in a prime position to win this one. But Nielsen still holding off Mark Horvath four position. Horvath pulls a little bit out to the left, but not able to make anything of it. As Nilsson looked like he was going to go really far into that corner. But he seems to have made the braking zone. No, he hasn't. He's been overcome. And now look at that. Up the inside goes Tuomela as well. So Nilsson continues to drop down the order. It was always going to be a bit of a big ask for him to stay in these front positions for too long. If he can play his cards right, he might have a chance of finishing in the top 10 here. But look behind him at Homewood, Moynier, Pleiss, Hackett, Magnussen, Wright, Schoenemann, Morel, Neuendorf, all right together then. And all plenty quick enough. As look at the weaving from Darren Wright there. As Tom Hackett is being overtaken by Magnussen now for 10th position. So Hackett is just being sent down the order by KV86s and Yannick Pleiss then. That's Nick Homewood in a similar position, isn't he? Just being shuffled out the order. Look at this. Is that Moynier being held up a bit, and that allows Yannick Pleiss to put his nose up the inside just briefly as Nick Homewood struggles for traction on the exit of turn 4. And now he's going to see both Pleiss and Moynier go either side of him here as they go into turn 5. And now begin the journey uphill. Pleiss is going to try and make a double move here. He's picked off Moynier, who's been stranded on the outside of Homewood. Now he's going to go up the inside of Homewood. Here we go. Oh, just avoids the curb and pushes Nick Homewood a little bit off track there. But Yannick Pleiss gets through. All right, loses it and hits the wall. He's kept it out of the wall. Well played by Darren Wright there, but he's still under attack. As look at Moynier cutting across the corkscrew there, and now Pleiss up the inside of Nilsson into 5th position. Slovenak still 3/10 behind Van Leeuwen in the battle for the lead, as Hargitay is keeping a watching brief on the pair of them. Now Magnussen struggling to keep Hackett at bay actually here in the battle for 9th. And there we go, a little bit of a delay allows Tom Hackett to slump himself around the outside as Nilsson struggling with understeer into turn 11 and goes a little bit off track there. So Nilsson could find himself passed by Nick Homewood before too long into the Andretti hairpin. It's getting very, very hectic between the KV86s. Moynier and Magnussen go side by side. Nilsson always has got Nick Homewood up the inside of him through turn 2, and now on the long run to turn 3 is all. Was that Moynier going a little bit off track there? No, it's Magnussen, sorry. And now Magnussen has got another. It's Schoenemann in the Finnevon going around the outside of him into turn 4 here. Louis Hartley has got a penalty for something somewhere. Luca Gray's out of the race, as is Tuomela. So I'm not quite sure what happened to Tuomela. I thought he was a bit further up the road from all this.
Yeah, I think we had some incident in the corkscrew the previous lap. I only saw the tail end of it. I'm going to have to look at it in the replays.
Here we go. Tom Hackett still challenging Moynier now for 8th position now that Magnussen's out the way. And Nilsson and Homewood are really holding these two up, but it's allowing Yannick Pleiss to pull away, and Pleiss has got a 4.2 second gap to Horvath ahead of his. Nilsson goes wide, and they all run 3 wide then downhill. Nilsson tries to get back in front of Nick Homewood actually in a bold maneuver here, and they're rows of 2 here as they go into turn 10. I'm sure there's not enough space as Homewood and Nilsson both go off track, and surely that's going to allow the KV86s of Moynier and Magnussen through, and Hackett is it's all hectic here as Morel is into the wall at the pit entry, and is that Hartley going into serve his penalty?
I don't think frantic is the right word to describe this. This is insanity.
Chaotic, yes. As look at this, Homewood still holding on to 6th position, from Loic Moynier, and now look at this, Magnussen once more has Tom Hackett trying to go around the outside of him, but now they're not being held up by Nilsson. One of them could potentially break away, and Loic Moynier has got the inside here into turn 4 on Nick Homewood. Homewood leaves plenty of room, and now he's got to deal with Patrick Magnussen and Tom Hackett, who's going to try and go the other way around him. Nick Homewood gets to the inside as soon as possible to try and limit the damage here as Nilsson goes charging in like a bull in a china shop and spins off into the gravel. Luckily, I think Magnussen survived that one, but what on earth was he thinking there?
Yeah, I don't think that's...
Oh, and Hackett onto the gravel. I wonder if Hackett got hit there as well. That just looked like a absolute Valtteri Bottas Hungary 2021 style maneuver.
Yeah, I don't think it was on him. It must have been something early on that he was on the grass or something and just...
Some sort of a hardware issue there, but Hackett has dropped down to 13th behind the other Hunter Birch of Thomas Raschke. Now we look at, oh, nice drift there from Schoenemann. 5 laps to go then. So up front, we've not been focusing on the lead battle because this has been pretty absorbing in of itself. But Van Leeuwen leads Slovenac by 0.3 of a second. Slovenac was another 0.2 quicker the previous lap. Hargitay, though, has started to up his pace. 27.7, personal best lap of the race. Last time around, he's just 0.6 behind Slovenac. It's Hackett. I wonder if Rashke will take pity on him and let him not put up too big of a fight here, because I think Hackett's just naturally got slightly better pace. Oh, as Morale barges Pajot out of the way in the battle for what's currently second last position, with Hartley the last runner after serving his penalty.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Hargitay isn't already much closer to the battle or actually past Sloveniak, so...
Could be that he saved his softs for the final half of the race, maybe. Look at this. Schoenemann goes up the inside of Homewood, but goes very, very deep, actually, and just about gets it turned in time for turn 5. Now into turn 6 we go, up towards the Rahal Straight, and very, very wide for Nick Homewood. He's off into the kiddie leader and bumping into the wall there. That will allow Schoenemann and down right through as well then. So the battle just continues as Schoenemann has to go off track almost to let down right through there. Homewood, sorry. It was Schoenemann, actually, I think, who hit the wall. And now look at this. Slovenac gets his way, trying to attack for the lead here. And they're almost going to go 3 wide down the straight, as Van Leeuwen has made a huge mistake in turn 11. And the 2 soft runners breeze by. So Slovenac leads from Hargitay and then Van Leeuwen in 3rd. And now look at this. Hargitay is going to try and go up the inside of Jurka Slovenac. We've already had a McNuggies win today and a Hunter Birch win. Who is going to win race 3 here, Pascal?
Yeah, considering Van Leeuwen is on the mediums, I don't think he's gonna have much of a chance to come back, you know.
Disappointment then for Finnevon then, but Van Leeuwen did well to hold on to the lead for as long as he did, but he made that mistake as soon as we cut him in turn 11.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like they came together into the last corner, but who that contact is on, I couldn't tell from the shot, so...
Hargitay, though, seems to have suddenly upped his pace. He was 0.4 of a lap quicker than Slovenac last time around. Of course, they were both being held up a bit by Van Leeuwen, as there we go. Schoenemann, after his bump with the wall, now trying to go back up the inside of Darren Wright then, as they go uphill towards turn 6 and the Rahal Straight once more. You all sort of have to go single file as Wright loses it completely, and off into the gravel in the background goes, I think that was Hackett, and big collision there. Schumann's in the wall. Looks like Dan Wright somehow was able to save a triple tank slapper there, as it almost went on him 3 times in a row down the same straight. And I wondered, that steering on that Crown Dental car looks entirely straight. Schoenemann is out of the race then. So
yeah,
dramatic development there.
Looking at that contact, it almost looked like maybe Schoenemann went into the back of Wright, which caused him to have that tank slapper. Otherwise, I can't really explain how on the straight.
Look at this, Hargitay trying to go up the inside of Slovenac into the Andretti hairpin. Now into turn 3 they go. Hargitay's going to try and set himself up well for the exit here as they approach now into turn 4. Slovenac will try and defend the inside, but that's the tighter line. They're both holding each other up. This is allowing Van Leeuwen back into the picture, which is not really what Hargitay wants. So Slovenac feeds Oliver Hargitay into Fies Van Leeuwen, and now Hargitay has to sort of defend, goes right up towards the curb into turn 5 there. With 2 laps to go after this one. And look at Slovenac drifting his way into turn 6 there, trying to abuse those soft tyres for all they're worth to try and escape Oliver Hargitay, but Hargitay refusing to give up then. So Hargitay has to go back to square one and find a way through into the lead if it's at all possible. Look at Van Leeuwen. You can sort of push the mediums a little bit harder than the soft runners, but as you say, with the distance being as it is with the lap, the warm-up, the formation lap essentially for the rolling start, it does alleviate some of the tyre wear issues that some of the soft runners might have had. Yannick Pleiss is still 1.4 seconds behind Horvath, so he's not really been catching as quickly enough to really mount much of a challenge, unfortunately.
Yeah, Horvath is kind of in a no man's land in this race.
Yeah, it's everyone that was being held up by Homewood and Nilsson earlier, isn't it? That has found themselves in that big gap between sort of Pleiss and Moynier and Horvath. Look at this, Hackett fighting back against Nick Homewood then for 8th position. Trying to get more points for Hunter Birch Goldtacular. Hargitay still fighting for the win. and his teammate fighting for 8th position then against a very, very experienced Nick Homewood. Because Hargitay, there's a little bit of frustration here because Slovenak's just come back from his race ban. If it wasn't for Slovenak, he'd be leading right now, but you've got to fight those who show up, haven't you? And Slovenak has done pretty well so far to manage this race the way that he has.
That would
And
be
Van
quite a
Leeuwen
redemption
still
arc
3
for
tenths behind.
Slovenak.
Sorry, what's that, Pascal?
That would be quite a redemption arc from Slovenak to go from a race ban to a race win.
It certainly would. And there's some people who think the bans have been a little bit harsh so far in this EERC season. There's some people who think that more people who should have got banned didn't get one. But so you do get a difference of opinion in the paddock. Here we go. Final lap about to begin then. Is Oliver Hargitay close enough for another do or die move? He just looks that a little bit too far back. As Hackett has gone up the inside of Homewood out of the exit of the corkscrew and into turn 9. Meanwhile, Hargitay a little bit too far back, although Slovenak goes a little deep into the Andretti hairpin. But it looks unlikely that Hargitay is going to be able to steal the win here. Neuendorf is making a late charge here on Nick Homewood. Remember, Morel is right behind as well, as is Pajoud. He's not had the best of days. Pajoud would really love to sneak his way into the top 10. The 4 in lockstep right together with one another as Nick Homewood desperately tries to control the pace to try and hold on to 9th position. Here we go. Uphill once more towards turn 6. And in fact, Van Leeuwen looks much closer to Hargitay this time around. So Slovenak is surely on his way to victory as the sparks fly from the bottom of Hargitay's car as he touches the curb there. And side by side they go. And in the battle for 9th. Homewood is going to try and hold on to the inside, but round the outside goes Peter Neuendorf. Fabulous move there. And now Morel could be looking to take advantage in the Speed Eagles car as he gets right up behind Nick Homewood. Neuendorf goes a little bit wide on the exit of 6th there. Slovenak is just a few corners away from victory here in the final race of the day. Here they are. Just one more corner to go. And it's going to be 2 wins in a row for Operation McNuggies. Jurica Slovenak wins the final race of the day, race 3 at Laguna Seca, with Hargitay in 2nd, just beating Van Leeuwen, who is 3rd. Horvath will finish 4th, ahead of Yannick Pleiss. Loic Moynier will be 6th, ahead of Patrick O'Magnus, and then it's Tom Hackett, and then it's this battle here as Nick Homewood desperately tries to get back in front of Peter Neuendorf, but that late dive wasn't late enough. Neuendorf will take 9th, and Nick Homewood will round out the top 10 from Morel, Pajoud, and Darren Wright. Hartley, by the way, sets the fastest lap in 14th as Rashke finishes 15th and last. I did say to Thomas, you've got to try and finish in the top 15 if you can, and that's exactly what he did. Unfortunately, that's last.
Yeah, Hartley and Rashke both went in for the new tires. That's how Hartley got the fastest lap.
There's Rashke.
No,
He's still trying to finish the race here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is live.
No, we have.
Okay, so we're about to see him. Oh, so he's going all the way off track. This is on the formation lap. Not ideal. We won't want to tend to the tarmac as soon as possible, Thomas. And then, contact with Hartley, and he spins across in front of him. So a little bit clumsy from the both of them, to be honest, although I'm more inclined to blame Louis Hartley, obviously. And then here's Gray. Same mistake as race 2. Just dipped it off into the gravel after making a mistake early on. And there's Noah Tuomela. He's just gone straight on somehow at the corkscrew, hasn't he?
Yeah, but can I get... There we go.
So it was contact with Nielsen. So Nielsen capped him in the rear.
And
then hit him again for good measure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was so much on Nielsen more than Tuomela.
Well, Tuomela just seemed to lock up completely, didn't he? And just come to a complete
That's
halt.
how it looked like to me.
And this is the moment where Homewood and Nielsen both went off track. And you got the 2 KV86s and Hackett. Hackett making contact. There we go. There's Morel spinning round. He just sort of made a banzai dive up the inside, didn't he, Morel? And look at this. So he sees them all making contact together, and then it was, I think that was Schoenemann.
No, I think
we squeezed Morel into the wall there.
And this is what happens
Nielsen.
to...
Darren Wright and Nielsen. Yes. So Nielsen was pushed into the wall by Darren Wright and then bounced off track into Homewood, I think it was.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expect. Let's see what happened here then.
Homewood goes off into the gravel. Oh, no, it's Schumann off in the gravel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Homewood goes back through. Then there's Darren Wright. And they just about slot back in.
And then the next lap
Top
it
of the
all comes
corkscrew.
undone. Oh, it's...
Yeah, Darren Wright gets a massive tank slapper and collects Schumann. Collects Neuendorf as well a little bit. Neuendorf actually got quite lucky here. Yeah, Wright just got too far on the curb. Once, twice, 3 times, 4. Oh, and gets corrected almost by Neuendorf. And there's Hackett just about sliding through as well.
That could have been so much worse for the whole field there, but somehow only 2 cars.
Full marks to Darren Wright, despite that being a very awkward moment for those behind. Great car control. And there's Yannick Pleiss. That's why he didn't catch Mark Horvath in the end. He just went too deep into gravel at turn 6, which is clearly the danger corner on this track. And finally, let's have a look at Magnussen. Yeah, it's going way too wide out of 3 and into 4. Does he collect it in time? Yes, he does. That's into 4, sorry.
That's the replays done.
Right, that's all. So, as we are now joined by Nick Homewood, let's go through the final results once more. So, Jurek Slovenak takes victory just from Oliver Hargitay and Faiz van Leeuwen. Mark Horvath finishes 4th. A great result for him ahead of Yannick Pleiss, who of course won in race 2. Loic Moynier still maintains that championship lead with 6th ahead of his teammate Patrick Magnussen. Tom Hackett completes a great opening 3 races of his British Touring Car Championship, finishing in the top 8 in all of them. Peter Neuendorf places 9th. And then Nick Homewood was just beaten by Neuendorf on the final lap. And I'm sure Nick is going to whine about that to us in just a second. Marcin Morel finishes 11th ahead of Stanislas Pajal. Darren Wright was 13th after that quadruple tank slapper that he managed to save somehow with a bit of help from his friends. Louis Hartley and Thomas Rashford 14th and 15th after a few trips down pit lane and crashing into each other on the opening lap. And then the non-finishers, Peter Schoenemann, Stefan Nielsen, Noah Toimella, and Luca Gray, sadly not getting to the end. So, since he's already here, I guess we can now do an interview with Mr. Nick Homewood. So,
do you want to interview the winners first?
Well, I mean, you're here, but
I'll bring in.
Just get Luca in. I mean, but
There we go.
Right. So we're now joined by Loic Moynier and Yannick Pleiss from KV86 Powerhouse and Operation McNuggies, respectively. So, shall we talk to our championship leader first? Loic, 3rd on the grid, 2nd in race 1 after Noah cooperated very well with you. And a collision with Luca Gray in race 2 allows Yannick, this man, to win race 2. And then it was a case of just surviving the chaos in race 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Noah looks like had a bit of a few skill issues in the race, not doing very well for himself. Was pretty frustrated throughout the race. We had a good car, but just could never put it in first place ever. So that was not really good for me, although scored a lot of points on any rival. And race 3 was a very fun scrap. Yeah, with Nick and Yannick and the others, yeah, just struggle with the weight ballast all throughout. Is the only thing.
That's the whole definition of success ballast, though. It's meant to hold you back from winning the championship as easily. Like, doesn't mean it's fun, of course, but
no, it's not fun. Don't be first. Do it. Let me do it for you.
So, 2 more events to go. Well, 2 more events to go in Alton Park and Brno in the Czech Republic. You must be feeling confident, Loic, because it was a bad round for Louis Hartley, all things considered. He finished behind you in all 3 races, so you've got to be feeling confident that potentially you can maybe even seal it a couple of races early in Alton Park, the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, I mean, you're never out of danger. You know, Alton Park is a lot of dangerous corners from just a general driving point of view, but also for touring car, it can roll very easily. So it will be really avoiding mistakes yet again. And you never know how fierce the grid will be in those tight braking zones. Brno I'm looking much more forward to because the track is wide and my first league race track.
Yeah, and I believe with a Smile Power out of the championship, I think there's only a small amount of points. I'll have to work out the maths, but I believe you only need a small amount of points across Otten Park for KV86 Powerhouse to seal the team's title from Finnevon Green. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, very, very, very exciting times for you guys. It seems everything's going your way at the moment.
Yeah, I'll take it. For once, I'll take it.
Absolutely. So anything else you want to add, Luke, before I let you go?
Alex will open the interviews for Silverstone, but other than that, I don't have anything else to add.
Alex feels he's owed an interview from Silverstone.
Exactly. You owe him.
I mean, none
No,
of my
I mean-
drivers seem to want to be interviewed.
Oh.
So
Well,
I guess maybe we can get Alex.
I can talk I can talk for them. It was a very nice race.
Yeah, Lucas seemed to enjoy the first one, not the other two. And Tom Hackett, I was very impressed by. I was hoping we could get Tom in. But if Tom's listening to this, well done. It's a great performance in all 3 races, Tom. And I hope you stick with us for the future. Anyway, since we've got him in here, thank you very much for talking to us, Loic, and best of luck in your championship hunt.
Thank you.
So while we got him here, let's talk to Yannick Place, of course, winner in race 2. Of course, you won in Silverstone, Yannick, quite memorably in that unique event in the race 1 there with the pit stops. And you followed up with another victory here, and with your teammate Jericho returning from his race ban and winning race 3. It was a very, very good race for your team, Operation McNuggies.
Yeah, indeed. We got some good haul of points. We joined the season pretty in the middle of it, but we start to make some progress in the championship, and yeah, some good racing. Couldn't get the car as dialed in as I wanted for the first race. I suffered a lot of understeer, but from then on it was way better, and yeah, managed to win race 2 and come back from P10 to P5 in race 3. So some good points also for my championship positioning.
It was interesting battle at the start of race 2, wasn't it? Because you had the least ballast, you and Moynier and Gray, and then you were able to just about work your way through, and Gray and Moynier came together essentially on the start-finish straight. Then from then on, you were basically able to keep Moynier at arm's length. So in a way, it was lucky they came together, but I could tell you weren't relying on that because you were really having a great battle with Loic and Luca in those opening stages in race 2.
Yeah, indeed, it was good. I saw Loic and Luca was pretty feisty in the beginning, and as they were busy battling, I was able to snatch a position from Loic and tried my luck with Luca, and I caught him a little bit by surprise. We touched a little bit, but I would say it was in the spectrum of what is okay. I tried to not push him out, but the cars tangled a little bit. It's always the little danger in Africa 2 when the cars stuck a little bit together, but I think it was okay. And then I tried to give Loic some slipstream so they battle into turn 1, but I think Luca didn't realize that Loic is already half alongside him, and yeah, I had a little bit of luck that I could create a gap pretty early there because of this. Because I knew that Loic was pretty good at the end of the race, so I needed to make the laps in the lead count to have myself a little bit of a lead for the end, and I think it was just enough because Loic was right there at the end.
Indeed, he was. You can never count out Loic Moynier. He's leading the championship for a reason.
Definitely, yes.
And Yannick,
That's
just a word on race 3 now as well, because that was probably the most chaotic one of the 3, and and considering how chaotic race 2 is, that is saying something. So obviously the field was mainly being held up by it was Nilsson and this man, Mr. Nick Homewood, and you were able to basically deal with Nilsson very, very early on. You were chasing Horvath. I think we saw in the replays at the end, you went a little bit wide at turn 6 and tagged the wall. Was that because I think you were on the soft tyres in race 3? Was that the reason you didn't catch Horvath in the end, or did Mark just do too good a job there?
I don't know if I would have had the time, but I was slightly faster every lap, but I don't know if the gap was just too much. I took a little bit long in the first laps of the race coming up from P10. As you said, it was kind of messy in the field behind the first cars when the little train developed. But as soon as I cleared them, I was making inroads onto the front. But I think it was just too much. But yeah, I had a encounter with one of the red sausages in the fast left kink, which sent me into the air. Luckily, I did just graze the wall and binned it completely. So I drove home P5. But yeah, could have been a little bit better maybe, but you never know.
I'm sure we're going to see much more of you in the future. You've been very impressive the last couple of races, Yannick. So well
Thank
done.
you.
Congrats to yourself and Operation McNuggies, and we'll see you in Alton Park in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you. Indeed.
Now, I was just about to talk to Nick Cohen, but I've just realised I looked at the announcements and I think he's declared Noah Tuomela as the winner of race 1 and not Luca
No.
Gray.
Was it Luca Gray?
It was Luca.
Sorry.
What I want to say to you right now, Nick, I can't because it could potentially stop us being friends, to put it mildly.
I fixed it for you, Ed.
There we go. Thank you. Luca's in a pretty fragile state. Like, if you don't acknowledge even the tiny victories, then frankly, let's just say we're not trading little Lego instructions and stickers anymore. Yeah. So Nick, it was great to see you back on track once more. I think you did Silverstone as well, if I remember correctly.
I was present. Didn't exactly feature.
Okay. But yeah, this was a much more exciting. Obviously, race 3 is the main one to talk about, but you had some solid fights with the 2 Peters, I guess, in races 1 and 2. And you finished, I think, did you just sneak your way? I remember in race 2, I think was it race 2 or race 3? I was watching, and I think it was race 2. Yeah, you were able to sneak your way into the top 6 at one point as well, right behind Tom Hackett, my new driver. And I was like, where's Nick come from all of a sudden? So was there just some chaos ahead of you that you took advantage? A couple of drivers running into each other? Or did you just have an amazing first couple of laps?
Oh, in race 2, everyone was going off, really. The car felt quite nice as well. And I ended up P5, which was...
You flew at one point in race 1, and I was saying, I hope more people don't do the Nick Homewood, because you went over that curb at turn 6 and founded Nick Homewood Airlines.
Yeah, I never did that in practice, but it's typically what you do as soon as you get into a race, isn't it?
Just get your pilot's license.
A bit too enthusiastic on the curb. But no, it was good. It was nice to actually have some speed and feature in the race a bit again. Not just driving around somewhere near the back. And race 3 was carnage, but quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course, there was you and Stefan were sort of the corks in the bottle, keeping a lot of the faster cars behind. And obviously, you two, there's a moment where you both went off at turn 10 at the same time, and then you had about 8 cars trying to get flight over the same piece of racetrack, and Peter ended up squeezing Marcin Morel into the wall that separates the track from the pits, essentially, right as Louis Hartley was coming in to serve his penalty as well. So it was a very, very chaotic moment, in part caused by yourself, or triggered by yourself, I think.
And as Staffy had a little excursion. I think he was helped by someone in the braking zone, wasn't he? When he went out the race, and that on his way out, he clipped the back of my car, and I had big damage after that. So it was just
I think it was Darren Wright that hit him. Yeah,
but
I said on track because we only saw the wide shot, so I didn't see Stefan being squeezed into the wall. And I just saw him bouncing or going straight on. And I thought, what on earth is he doing there? Is he bouncing? He's trying to destroy Nick Homewood. But
it was fun to be able to battle like Loic and all that, even if only briefly.
Were you a bit annoyed that Peter Nurendorf got you on the final lap?
Yeah, there was nothing I could do about it. Car was driving like an absolute ship. So.
Peter Nurendorf has been quietly impressive there in the Potts racer, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Because I think we made a joke about him and Peter Schienemann. We called him New Peter and other Peter Old Peter. So,
Peter Oldendorf.
Yeah.
I think
Peter
Alex
Old Man,
wants to talk about Silverstone briefly.
Okay, well, since none of my drivers want to come and talk to us, then we can let Mr. Alex Lahou, who of course starred at the British at Silverstone, filling in for Noah Tuomela, who's since returned. Alex, of course,
hello,
due
guys.
to Pascal's computer dying, we didn't get to talk to you after Silverstone. So you can talk to us about maybe a bit of Silverstone, a little bit about your thoughts on how your teammates did today as well, if you really want. But yeah, of course, you had that interesting end to race 2 at Silverstone, didn't you, where you dived up the inside in a pursuit of second position. You went into the pits on the very final. You tried to do the old Michael Schumacher routine, Silverstone 1998. Except you didn't have a penalty. That was just a shorter route before the because you memorized where the finish line was essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
You even
if
changed
we
the rules.
Want to start,
they changed the rules because of you. The Lahou rule.
Yeah, good move. Good move. No, but if we're gonna start with quali, not about quali to be honest. Knowing that I bought the car like 30 minutes before the qualifying session, so I pretty much drove on the day because Christian asked me to, and because apparently Noah was banned or like the car was banned. So yeah, not bad. I know Silverstone very well. Those cars are a little bit weird to drive since they're front-wheel drive. So different driving style. Quali did go well. I think qualified P4 ahead of all of my teammates. Race 1 was a nice little P3, if I'm not wrong. And on race 2, P2 with a little questionable move on the last lap. We are not gonna talk about it. Actually, we can because it's apparently legit.
Well, because Pascal's
Well,
streamed
not
live
anymore.
with 2 laps to go, your defense can be, well, it wasn't on stream, so it didn't happen. I got their P2 fair and square.
I wouldn't say it wasn't legal. It just wasn't illegal. So
Yeah, it wasn't illegal, yeah.
there was
It is
no
It's
way
like,
we could really penalise you for it.
Yeah.
Same with
Yeah,
Hargatai
very-
got the fastest lap by going in the pits.
But
Oh,
I mean,
that's
I
true.
take it because it helps their team in the championship, so I'm gonna take it, I guess.
But you did take points off of Loic.
I mean, skill issue. Just kidding.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely that Loic is, unless Louis Hartley has an amazing final 2 events. It's looking unlikely that Loic's going to lose it. So maybe he'll let you have that one. He didn't seem too upset when we talked to him earlier. So, but
Oh, well,
just
I
a
mean,
final word,
the main goal
Alex.
is to have fun. The
It
main
is,
goal
yeah.
is to have fun, obviously.
'Cause Alex, I know you and I always joke that I'm not supportive enough towards you at the moment for some reason, even though
Yeah, I
feel like
think I
I've made an
can. I
effort.
think I know why. One
Is it
thing
'cause
might be the reason that happened maybe 1 week, 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure.
oh, because you
Maybe your
vetoed.
drivers are driving in this championship as well. Not sure.
Oh, in this touring car championship, did you crash into somebody? Oh no, FS2.
Uh,
It's FS2 or oh, is it because of
wait.
Joe
No, I mean
Durant?
this league.
Oh, this league. Okay.
Maybe I took some points off them.
Oh right. Okay. No, I don't really care about that.
Ah, okay,
Because we're not going to win the
fair enough.
championship anyway. I mean, it's just nice to get a few wins once in a while. So Luca certainly did an amazing job in race 1 today. But I just want to say generally, I think you did a brilliant job in, and obviously Canada didn't quite go your way with Jack Mayer outfoxing you on the strategy
Yeah.
in GBV Superlights. But I think generally you've been doing a superb job there, and it seems to be flowing through into everything else you compete in. You seem like a very different driver to last year in a good way. It seems like there were moments where you put everything together, but now it seems that those moments are happening a bit more consistently. So yeah, even though you've only played a cameo role in EERC British Touring Cars, it was great to have you there.
Thank you. And yeah, I wish you the best for the next because I don't know if I'm gonna be driving in ERC.
You can drive for us. We have a spare car.
We will think
Got
about
Luke
it.
Shaw's name on it, but
I'm gonna sit down with the committee and see if it's
do
possible.
you like the Ford Focus or the Hyundai? Because I could kick Louis out of the Hyundai.
Well, I drove the Corolla, and I didn't think bad of it this far.
Right, okay, I'll set up a new team for you.
Oh no, he knows.
Someone
He knows my
looking for
weakness
it
now.
Anyway, I look forward to next time I get to commentate on you racing, Alex. But it's funny, the longest interview was someone who wasn't in that race. So
Just sitting the show away now. But I want Loic to win the championship, to be honest.
If one of
Personal
my
preference.
guys can't win it, then I'm sort of pulling towards Loic as well because Louis Hartley's won it before. That's really for that reason. Although, yeah, and also Louis is usually a little bit meaner to us than Loic. So
Okay.
Clearly for that
I
reason.
mean,
Anyway, great to catch up, Alex, and have a lovely evening.
yeah, thank you. You too, mate. Ed, and well, yeah. I have nothing much to say.
You can just say goodbye.
Well, goodbye, I
Got
guess.
distracted on the way out of the commentary box.
Yeah, I was thinking of saying goodbye, then I forgot how to say goodbye. So yeah, see you later, guys.
Merci, au revoir.
Bye.
Right, there we go. So as Alex the Who leaves, we seem to talk to everyone. So Nick and Pascal are still here. So I guess final thoughts from the both of you as we go into the closing stages of this championship. 3 different winners today, very, very competitive. And I think all 3 races ending with the top 2 right close together, less than a second apart in all 3 races. So that was that's pretty exceptional level of competitiveness we've seen today.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it was so tight today everywhere, and the race 3 delivered as we expected. I think it can't get much better. It was, I mean, it's always going to get a bit hectic if all the cars are so close together, but I don't think anything egregious was there that was like unsafe or something.
And final thoughts from you, Nick?
I like the track. It seemed to be a bit of a balancer. Nobody seemed to be that.
I mean, literally,
Quick.
we saw Peter do a massive breakdance at one point as he went on
Yeah.
2 wheels.
I mean, I
and
know
then
there were
into the wall.
issues. No, there were issues with the mod, but like the actual track, no one seemed to have a mega advantage over anyone else. Everyone was competitive. The cars felt really nice around there. I need to go and watch back through the stream because it looked like there were some good battles. But it's hard to believe it's near the end of the season already.
It is end of the 4th season as well, so we have been doing this for a while now. But let's say congrats, congrats to you, Nick, for getting a decent top 9 finish in the end.
Before today, I hadn't finished higher than 14th. So.
Well, no, weren't you 6th or 7th in race 2? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but before Laguna Seca, my highest finish was 14th, about 4 times over. So.
Yeah. Helps that it feels a bit smaller now as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, congrats to our 3 winners today. That's Luca Gray from Hunter Birch Simulation. So we wish Luca. I know Luca was a little bit annoyed about how races 2 and 3 went, but still, amazing job today, Luca, in that first race. I think you can hold your head high after that one. And well done too to Yannick Pleiss, who we talked to earlier, and Jurka Slovanak, returning from that race ban and redeeming himself very much so in that final performance, holding off Oliver Hargitay at the end with some great defensive driving. Thanks to Pascal for running the stream. Thankfully, we got to the end of the final race this time, so that was lucky that connection held. Thanks to all of our drivers and teams for putting on a great show today, and thanks to you, of course, for watching. I've been Edward Hunter. Thank you very much for enjoying round 6 of the championship here at Laguna Seca. Stay tuned for round 7 on the 12th of June at Alton Park, and the finale, round 8, on the 26th of June at Brno in the Czech Republic. Bye for now, and goodbye from sunny California.